Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. This is PBR on US Cowboy. We are previewing Freedom Days, August 8th through the 10th in Sunrise, Florida. Couple notes to get through real quick before we give you three matchups to watch, one each day of action. First of all, where to watch now, because PBR Teams has some new broadcasting deals. So you can watch Friday night on Fox Nation, the app there. Saturday and Sunday on the CW, as well as Sunday game of the week on CBS. That is the simple version of the schedule. Something else I am looking for amongst that schedule this week is just where are we going to create separation in the standings? We're 5 games into the 35-game season. Still a long ways to go here, but we'll be at 8 after every team has 3 this upcoming weekend in Florida. And right now, every team is either between 4-1 and 1-4. So no one's 5-0, no one's 0-5. No real separation there at all, considering there's 6 teams that are 3-2 or 2-3. So very, very tight. We should get a little more defined portion of who's good, who's not. We'll almost be a quarter of the way through the season already after this week in Florida. So all that out of the way. All that being said, let's go to the 3 matchups to watch. The first one, Texas Rattlers versus Carolina Cowboys. Good for a couple of reasons, but first of all, it is the return of Brady Fielder, who is still very much alive in the MVP race, had a broken leg and is only going to miss about 2 weeks. He's 3 for 3 on the year. He leads the Rattlers. He was second in the MVP race a year ago, third in the UTB race this past year. So the last 365 have been really, really good for Brady Fielder. And this is a matchup between the two teams who have ridden the most bulls in PBR teams this year. The Rattlers, 64%. They are far and away ahead of everyone else this year. They've ridden 16 bulls of the 25 the team has gotten on. The next closest, like I said, Carolina Cowboys tied with the Florida Freedom. Both of them have ridden 12 bulls. So 4 more bulls over 5 games for the Rattlers than anyone else. And I think a big reason for that for the Rattlers is right now they are by far the deepest team in the PBR. We mentioned Brady Fielder. We haven't mentioned, but Brady Randolph, terrific start to the year. He's 3 for 5. But then they've just got so many guys they can go to, whether it be Ezekiel Mitchell, Daniel Keeping, Callum Miller. I thought before the season, getting Ezekiel Mitchell and Callum Miller, they would be great in spot duty. And that's exactly what all of them have been. All 3 of those guys have only ridden 1 or 2 bulls, but they've only appeared in 1 or 2 games. And so just getting the matchups they need when they need guys to get healthy, they have been really, really good. And also, they've got 2 young Aussies who have not been called up yet in Macaulay Leather, one of the highest rated prospects in this past year's PBR Teams draft, and also Quinn Anderson, who's in the top 10 in the PRCA world standings. He has been terrific this year in pro rodeo. So that's all the news on the Rattlers. They're going to be our next matchup as well, because on Saturday, August 9th, they are matched up with the Arizona Ridge Riders. And this last one we talked about, Cowboys and Rattlers, 2 highest scoring teams in the league, 2 highest marked teams in terms of riding percentage, but all that matters is wins and losses at the end of the day, and these are the top 2 teams in the league. Both of them 4-1. Ridge Riders 2-0 last weekend. They've won 4 in a row since losing their first game in Oklahoma City, dating back to last year. Ridge Riders 8-2 in the regular season. They've got 3 guys already who are 3 for 5, so some lineup staples for them. 2 of them being Luciano DeCastro and Keshan Whitehorse, who both have walk-offs on the year. Keshan Whitehorse had the memorable one a few weeks ago where he's hanging off the side and just terrific strength to scratch out a 72 3/4 point ride, but that's all they needed to beat the Mavericks, who were shut out in that game. So both of them have played the closer role. Both of them have done it well. That's going to be a terrific matchup. The worst that either team can be going into that is 4-2. Obviously, the potential on the flip side for both teams to be 5-1 and still both be in first place coming into that matchup. The final matchup we have our eye on. August 10th, the Florida Freedom, the hosts, fresh off a perfect game, their first in franchise history, the 8th in PBR Teams history. We only see about 3 or 4 of these a year. They are the first one on the board with one in the second weekend of the season here in 2025. They are taking on the Kansas City Outlaws, who are looking to get the momentum back. They started 3-0 in Oklahoma City, really took the season by storm, faded back to 3-2 after an 0-2 performance in Duluth. But they have Kolton Heavilow leading off for him. He's ridden 4 or 5 bulls. He's got the most rides in PBR Teams this year so far. He's leading the MVP race. They've got Maikon Calixton after that as well. So they go back to back. And Calixto's 3 for 5. He's number 3 in the MVP race. So they, it's early in the season, but right now they've got 2 of the top 3 guys in that MVP race to lead off for them. And you can really set the tone in these games, obviously. If you ride your first 2 bulls, oftentimes 2 bulls can be enough to win. And so you can apply a ton of pressure. That's happened twice this year for them where they've started off 2 for 2 with those 2 guys. But the Freedom, much like the Ridge Riders, 3 guys, 3 for 5. Joao Lucas Campos, Tiago Salgado, and of course, John Crimmer, the reigning MVP. And so 2 teams, both 3-2, trending in opposite directions. The Freedom got off to a bit of a slow start. The Outlaws, a hot start. And so we'll know, obviously, how the weekend has gone so far for both of those teams when we get to Sunday. And so we'll see if those trends continue. We'll see if we're in a position where the Outlaws have rebounded or trying to get that momentum to retain itself. All of that in play to close down the week there. That is a quick preview. 3 matchups to watch. Couple things to keep your eye on. Remember, you can watch PBR Teams on Fox Nation on Fridays, the CW Saturdays and Sundays, and CBS for the game of the week on Sunday mornings. We will be back on Monday. We're doing this every week for the rest of the season. Thursday, we've got a preview of all of the action coming up the best way we can. Mondays, we are recapping all of that action. So we are the place to be for what's coming up in PBR Teams, what just happened in PBR Teams. We're here all season long, all the way through the finals in Las Vegas. We will be here every Monday with recaps, every Thursday with previews. And if you're a pro rodeo fan as well, we have the morning kick, a little longer form, one big thing type video every Tuesday. Then we have No Huddle Rodeo, rundown style news show every Wednesday for pro rodeo there. So Monday through Thursday, we've got you covered. Monday and Thursday, PBR, Tuesday and Wednesday, PRCA. We're here for both all season long, but this is our first go at it for PBR on US Cowboy. Thank you for joining us. And for the last time, subscribe. We will see you Monday. Thank you once again.